We're back with part 2 of our interview with Matthew Wood at Skywalker Sound. Okay, you've had a pretty busy summer. You've got WALL-E and you have Clone Wars coming out. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what it was like to do WALL-E.
Yeah, well, it was the first Pixar movie that I'd worked on. Ben, after Episode 3, went to Pixar and they started development on this feature, WALL-E. And I came over there with him, and I worked about 6 months over there at Pixar, just getting him a proper sound design environment so he could work close with the directors over there full time. And so we then brought the final post-production over here to Skywalker, and so it had been like 2 or 3 years that WALL-E had been in process in post-production sound, and I got to watch that development with Ben. So at the same time, Clone Wars was actually happening, so I had to like really balance my time between those two productions.
But that brings up an interesting point. You said that, and obviously animation films take a lot longer to produce.
Yes.
So when do you come on in a 2 or 3 year process? When do you start?
Well, pretty early on. I mean, like Ben was obviously the primary sound designer on WALL-E, so he started pretty much immediately when they were just having storyboards. So.
Well, also he was he had a voice character in there.
Yeah, yeah, that was born out of the fact that he started so early on the project with the storyboarding. We set him up with this. It's called the Symbolic Sound Capybara Kima. It's this box that we use for sound design that I went out and learned. The companies out in Illinois and Champaign-Urbana. I went out there and took a whole like seminar on how to use this like big DSP farm.
Wow.
And we used it on Star Wars. And then Ben wanted to use it on WALL-E, and so we set him up at Pixar with one of them too. And it was a way for him to take his voice and sort of stretch it with pitch and time using a Wacom tablet and pen. And as the tests went on, we would use Ben's voice to be the one articulating the various lines of the character, and so the director actually fell in love with it really early on, and they kept it all the way through. So I mean,
that's pretty cool. That's happened to editors and people in post on more than one occasion.
Yes, yes, it has.
Including?
Yeah, it happened to me. I mean, yeah, I mean, mine was a little bit different because I did audition for the role like anonymously, and I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't. My voice was not in there from the beginning. It actually came in later. But yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Right place, right time kind of thing.
Okay, let's take a look at a clip from WALL-E.
Orange contaminant. Huh?
So you would be on from fairly early on,
right?
But you would go off and on. Is that how it works?
Yeah, yeah. On WALL-E for sure, I would go off and on because I had other commitments to Star Wars and Lucasfilm. And Ben was the primary guy on WALL-E, as well as this primary sound designer on Crystal Skull, so he had to balance his roles over there too. But once we got the picture fairly locked on WALL-E, then we bring it to Skywalker. Then I hire a crew of you know 8 to 10 people, and we split out all the duties in editorial, and then we do the final mix in a big mix stage. And so that's when it's we're right down to the wire finishing. And so yeah, animation, you do start really early just to get concepts out of the way, and also the fact that everything's being animated. That was one cool thing about WALL-E, watching Ben make robotic articulation sounds. And normally you don't think about it, but like he would make these sounds and give them to the animation department. It would come back, and every single little nuance that Ben had created in the sound, they made a little visual reference for, so it really locked those two things together and really gave it life. And that's something that sometimes we work in the other direction where the animation's done and then we're having to make our sound to that animation. But this other way around of working was fantastic. I've never had it that way where the animation is so keyed in to the sound you're creating from the beginning.
Okay, we'll be right back with part 3 of our interview with Matthew Wood at Skywalker Sound.